Tampa Bay is like no place else.
Wait, you can't recycle the bag? You have to throw it away.
Proper recycling keeps it that way for everyone. Bags tangle in machinery and can bring sorting efforts to a halt.
No bags.
Trash the bags and keep our recycling program moving forward.
No, Mom, look, no plastic bags.
Do your part to keep our recycling bag-free. Trash the tanglers or return them to participating retailers. For more information, visit tampabayrecycles.org.
Don't let mosquitoes ruin your day. Fight the bite by removing standing water on your property. Standing water of any kind is a breeding ground for mosquitoes. Do your part and help reduce the mosquito population.
Visit hcfl.gov/fightthebite.
Hey, would you do me a favor? Grab your phone or smart device and open up that camera. Then point it right here at the QR code. Do you have it? I'll wait a second. When you see the link pop up on your screen, give it a tap. You ready? Boom! Welcome to the Hillsborough County official YouTube channel. We've got all sorts of videos here, all about what makes our community such an awesome place. From local events and community highlights to what's in the perfect Cuban sandwich. We've got it all. We're always adding new things, so while you're here, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll never miss a new video. Here's that QR code again, just in case you missed it. Go ahead and check it out. Ooh. This must have fallen out of that video. This really is the perfect Cuban sandwich.
Welcome to a meeting of your Planning Commission, the official local planning agency for the cities of Tampa, Temple Terrace, Plant City, and unincorporated Hillsborough County. The Planning Commission provides innovative leadership and long-range vision that contributes to the creation of a thriving, prosperous community that offers opportunity, fairness, and choice in how we live, move, learn, work, and play. For more information about the Planning Commission, please call 813-272-5940. Follow us on social media or visit our website at planhillsborough.org.
Welcome, everybody, to the February 10th, 2025 regular meeting of the Hillsborough County City-County Planning Commission. We thank you for attending this meeting. Your comments and participation are encouraged. For those attending in person and wishing to speak on any agenda item, please sign the register at the rear of the room and turn off any devices that may be a distraction. To minimize feedback in the audio, all online participants in the meeting will be muted until it is their opportunity to speak. Planning commissioners should unmute themselves to indicate that they would like to speak. Please be sure to state your name at the beginning of your remarks for the benefit of the clerk. There will be an opportunity for members of the public to provide comments. When your name is called, you will be unmuted when it is your turn to speak. Please wait until the chair calls on you to begin speaking. State your name at the beginning of your comments and adhere to the time limits. If anyone has difficulties or is watching via HTV and would like to provide comments to be included in the record for the local government hearing, please email them to planner@plancom.org. For action items, the meeting will be conducted as follows. The agenda item will be introduced. Staff will give their presentation with a 15-minute time limit. The applicant will be given the opportunity to make a presentation with a 15-minute time limit. Following presentations, members of the public may address the Planning Commission when recognized by the chair. Public comment will be heard for 3 minutes per person. The applicant will then be afforded a 3-minute period for rebuttal or response. Planning commissioners will ask questions. Public comment will be closed. Then upon a motion, a second, and a discussion, a vote will be taken. With that introduction, I will ask Commissioner Orton to lead us in the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Would all please rise.
Dear Father, we are thankful for this day that you have given us, for its blessings, its opportunities, its challenges. May we appreciate and use each day that comes to us. We ask for strength and guidance through the day's proceedings to help us make decisions that are in the best interest of the entire community. Help us recognize our differences and mobilize them for the good of the community and its common goals. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Orton. All right. With that introduction, I'll ask the clerk to please call roll.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Bowden?
Here.
Buzza? Cardenas?
Here.
Kona?
Here.
Kress? Here. Lauk?
Here.
Soria?
Here.
Sieben? Orton?
Here.
Rodriguez?
Here.
Chair Joseph?
Here.
Thank you. You have quorum.
All right. Next agenda item is public input for items not scheduled for action on the agenda, and we had 2 individuals sign up for that who are virtual. Yes, they are virtual. First, I will start off with Melissa G. Is Melissa G on the line? Melissa G, going once, going twice. No. All right, I will try the second one then. George Smith. Is George Smith on the line? All right, going once, going twice for George Smith. All right, I'll try Melissa G again. Going once, going twice for Melissa G, not hearing anything. All right, then I'll go ahead and close the public comment. And we will move on to our next agenda item, number 3A, presentations. That's Plan Hillsborough 2024 Annual Report, and the presenter is Melissa Dickens.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Melissa Dickens, Planning Commission staff. One moment while I pull this item up. All right, so this item is the 2024 Plan Hillsborough Annual Report. We come before you each year to share information on how we are implementing the agency's strategic plan. You all should have a hard copy of the annual report at your seats. So that is really our comprehensive overview of how we're meeting the agency's strategic plan. I'm going to go through in this presentation some highlights and some key points. Also want to thank Bryn Dauphiné and Katrina Corcoran for their work to put together this document. This slide is a brief refresher on the Plan Hillsborough strategic plan. This strategic plan was adopted with input from all three boards, the Planning Commission, the TPO, and the Hillsborough River Interlocal Planning Board, and then adopted by this board, the Planning Commission, last year. So we have a 2024 through 2029 strategic plan. The intent of the strategic plan is to take board direction on near-term priorities. There are four general overarching pillars that reflect the direction that we received. The first is integrated and connected communities. Then there's a pillar on partnerships and community engagement, one on the resilient natural and built environment, and then a fourth one that is more process-oriented on technology and operational enhancements. And there are more specific goals under each of these pillars. I'm going to keep them kind of at the pillar level for this presentation, but we have more detail in our adopted strategic plan. The first pillar is integrated and connected communities, and that's all about linking land use and transportation, also about housing opportunities and choice. There are a few example projects and work products here that we use as part of tracking the implementation of the strategic plan. The first is the 2050 LRTP and its adoption, looking at long-range needs and priorities for the TPO. There also was a new growth management guide that was released last year that provides information on the tools and the strategies that the Planning Commission is using to address the significant growth in the community. A couple of comprehensive plan components, completing the final phase of the Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan through the future land use section adoption, and then working to update the Tampa Comprehensive Plan's future land use section for bonus structures, as well as the work on the housing section. And then finally, the TPO received a $2.5 million Safe Streets for All grant in partnership with UCF, so we wanted to highlight that as well. Partnerships and community engagement is a pillar that is all about strengthening existing partnerships, finding new partnerships, working at both the local and the regional level, and then enhancing public and community engagement and awareness of the planning work that we do. The first example project is the Plant City Northeast Master Plan. This came before you a couple of months ago, related to updates to that master plan in partnership with Plant City. The agency has also started work on the inaugural Valrico Community Plan as directed by the Board of County Commissioners, and then completed work. It was kind of a two-year process on the Palm River Progress Village Community Plan. Staff has also put together a new community planning guide update. That was last updated in 2012. And that community planning guide is not adopted, but it provides information to the public, to residents, to decision makers about how the community planning process works. And then staff completed two master plans for our regional agency two master plan reviews for our two regional agency partners this past year, both USF and Tampa International Airport. And the third pillar is all about enhancing resiliency and connecting the natural and the built environment. Have a number of comprehensive plan examples that we've been working on to support this pillar. The first is the coastal section update that came before you a couple of months ago. Staff's work on the future land use coastal high hazard area policies and industrial policies that'll coming before you in the April meeting. Staff has also worked to meet new requirements for wastewater planning and comprehensive plans, and the TPO is working on continued air monitoring, community air monitoring network projects. And then the final pillar is technology and operational enhancements. The first couple of items are sort of public-facing tools, the Land Use Finder tool, where the public can click and find out information about existing and future land use. And the second is an interactive map related to indicators for gentrification that's available on the website. Staff has also worked to, as you all have seen, the updates to the procedures manual for the 3 cities, separating them out as opposed to having one overarching procedures manual. Staff is also working on evaluating the use of AI or artificial intelligence in our work, how this can best be used to enhance efficiencies, but also have some guardrails in place and ways that we can use it best as an agency. And then finally, another technological or operational enhancement that's also kind of public engagement is the Meet the Team video series, where staff from different teams across the organization is introduced to the public. So that's something that we liked because it represented the broad work of the organization and the full team. And then also within the annual report, we have quantitative metrics that we track each year. Just some highlights up here on the screen. Over 1,800 clients were served, so those are phone calls, walk-ins, emails. Staff does track that, and we have a database where we keep track of that. There were over 90 presentations to external groups. We held over 115 meetings, both the Planning Commission, TPO, River Board, and the committees. Reviewed over 60 comprehensive plan amendments. There were over 360 other consistency reviews. So those would be things that may not come to this board, but are things like rezonings or CIP changes. Those are done throughout the course of the year. And then over 1,400 maps were created. And in terms of what we're working on in this coming year, also included at the dais and in your packet are the annual performance measures. These are highlights from the strategic plan. They're things that are included in our executive director's annual review. So those items are there for you this month and then will be used as part of the formal review process next month. And then staff is also working on continued tracking, evaluating how we can best monitor the implementation of our strategic plan. Are there any enhancements that we can look at in terms of how to best implement it and make sure that we are keeping on track with the pillars and the goals? This concludes my presentation. I'm available if there are any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There's no action on this one, so I'll turn it over to the commissioners for questions. Comments or thoughts? Not seeing any at this time, then we'll thank you for the information. We'll move on to our next agenda item. Item 4A. 4A, action items. All right, down to business. 4A, LDC 24-0278, time extension of zoning hearing application deadlines due to storm-related delays, and the presenter is Tariq Royal.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is Tariq Royal, Planning Commission staff. I'm here to present Israel Monsanto from Hillsborough County Development Services. This is an action item, and Israel will be given a presentation.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Israel Monsanto Development Services. The first item is 25-0278, and again, this is time extension of zoning hearing application deadlines due to storm-related delays. This amendment will provide for a time extension of 6 months to public hearing applications in the event the county declares a state of local emergency. Extension will apply to any active hearing application pending as of the date of September 23rd last year. And this extended 6 months time will be in addition to any time extensions currently provided for by the Land Development Code for public hearing applications. Currently, our code provides for a total of 6 months calculation in the event a public hearing is canceled due to an emergency event such as we had like COVID, with the time calculation resuming once public hearings resume. This provision was applied to applications pending during Hurricane Milton, which necessitated the cancellation of the Board of County Commissioners land use meetings and also zoning hearing master hearing to provide for an additional month for the applications to be heard. As a result of recent storms, many residents, businesses, contractors are grappling with the needs to fix, demolish, redesign buildings and plants and properties affected by flood zones and also by storm damage. And this creates substantial delays and revisions to existing plans, and that key professionals involved in zoning and constructions projects have faced difficulties engaging with applications as they too are dealing with storm-related demands. So this amendment will take into account those difficulties and provide for that additional time for applicants to then come back to the hearing process. And that concludes my presentation.
All right, thank you very much. We didn't have, oh, Tyreek, you got more to say? Oh, yeah, staff's recommendation.
Just a consistency finding. Planning Commission staff have reviewed this text amendment, 250278, and have found it to be consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the comprehensive plan, including Objective 4.1, Policy 4.1.2, regarding relationship to the land development regulations. Development must meet or exceed the requirements of all land development regulations as established by, adopted by Hillsborough County, the state of Florida, and the federal government, unless requirements have been previously waived by these government bodies. With that, Planning Commission staff recommends the LDC text amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we didn't have anyone sign up for the public comment on this one, so I'll turn it over to the commissioners for questions, comments, or thoughts on this one. Not seeing any, then I will go on ahead and close the public comment on this item and open it up to motions from the commissioners on this one. Anyone? Commissioner Laut.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move we find the proposed, sorry, I lost my note here. I move we find the proposed land development text code amendment consistent with the unincorporated Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan and forward to the for the recommendation to the Board of Hillsborough County Commissioners. We'll get it out at some point.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Soria.
I will second the motion.
All right, we have a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Lauk, a second to that by Commissioner Soria. Questions or comments from the commissioners before we take our vote? All signify their agreement by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, our next agenda item, 4B, LDC 250282, pre-site construction plan streamlining process, and the presenter is Tyreek Royal.
Again, good afternoon. Tyreek Royal, Planning Commission staff, and Israel Monsanto will be given a brief overview.
Israel Monsanto Development Services, LDC 250282. This text amendment will allow applicants the ability to skip directly to site development straight to construction submittals. This will make pre-application submittal meetings and preliminary site plan submissions optional. By making both a preliminary site development plan review process or pre-submittal meeting optional, the site development review process will be streamlined and review times shortened while maintaining the same strict review guidelines and requirements already in place in the Land Development Code and also in the Hillsborough County Development Review Procedures Manual. The section 100106 today stipulates that an applicant may waive the preliminary site development plan review process step prior to site development straight to construction submittals. However, if an applicant chooses to waive this step, attendance to a pre-submittal meeting facilitated by Hillsborough County staff is required by the code. This amendment, again, will remove that required attendance to a pre-submittal meeting if the applicant chooses to waive the preliminary site review. And I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you. All right, we didn't have anyone sign up. Oops, sorry, Tyreek, sorry. I keep jumping.
It's tricky having two people presenting. So Planning Commission staff have reviewed this text amendment 250282 and have found it to be consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the unincorporated Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan, including Policy Objective 4.1 and Policy 4.1.2, where development must meet or exceed requirements of all land development regulations as established and adopted by Hillsborough County, the state of Florida, and the federal government, unless these requirements have been previously waived. With that, Planning Commission staff recommends the finding to be consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we didn't have anyone sign up for this one in the public comment, so I will turn it over to commissioners. Commissioner Orton?
You're going straight from site development to construction plan. Are you still requiring them to come to school board for concurrency?
That will be part of the process that they are going to do with the straight to construction. So everything is going to be included when they submit for the straight to construction plans.
So yes, they will be.
Yes.
All right. Are there any other comments, questions from the commissioners? Not seeing any, then I will, is that a question or?
It's a question.
Yes. Okay,
I
Commissioner
thought
Lau.
Commissioner Kona was going to go, so I didn't want to step on him. I saw your hand on the button. I think this is a good thing. Could you just briefly, in layman's terms, walk us through what that process would look like with the reduction in time? So, on average, how much time would be saved from an application perspective, and what are the cons to making this change? There's a pretty rosy staff report on this is a good thing.
It's so if an applicant filed for a preliminary site, it's about 30-day review time. Once that gets approved, assuming all the reviewers find it approvable, then they prepare to file for the construction plans, and I think that usually adds an additional 30 days, again, if they don't have to resubmit and provide revisions, and then probably resubmit again. So that's about, a couple of months. If they decide to go straight to construction, then they have to go to the pre-submittal meeting. So the pre-submittal meeting is a scheduling process, so you have to file to schedule it, and sometimes they have to wait for 3 weeks. I've been hearing that an applicant has to wait for at least 3 weeks or 2 weeks to get a schedule in the pre-submittal meeting. Once they go to the meeting, that's when they prepare the plans to submit for the straight to construction, which then takes you to the 30-day review for that. So by making those processes optional, you are saving maybe 30 almost, or sometimes even more than that, like 60 days, if you just prepare your plans to just submit it straight to the constructions, which is an advantage again, because now you are streamlining the process. One could argue that the pre-submittal meeting has some advantages as well, because the applicant has the opportunity to hear from staff before they actually file for formal review that, hey, just take this into account from natural resources or from transportation or EPC, and they take those notes into account before they file for the construction plans. But what we have seen is that most of the applicants are like what we call frequent flyers, so they're very familiar with the process, they're very familiar with the regulations, they're very familiar with the submittal of the plans, and they find that okay, we know the processes, it's just a formality that they have to submit for the pre-submittal meetings, and that is taking time for the review of their projects. It's very beneficial for applicants who are filing for the first time with the county, the pre-submittal meetings, for example. And once they learn everything from the code and our development review manual, but that they become more familiar with our process.
That's great. Thank you.
All right. Any other, Commissioner Soria?
Yeah, just one question for the staff. Does the pre-submittal meeting request, does that add a cost to the applicant as well, or?
It's free. Yeah, those pre-submittal meetings are free of charge.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you.
All right. Any other, Commissioner Kona?
Yeah, just a comment. This is a big win for consumers, and I applaud Hillsborough County for taking the steps to make these adjustments, because this is a big win for anyone who wants to build anything in Hillsborough County to be able to, because before this even happens, there's so much stuff that has to happen with the actual site itself. This is once the site's already approved, let's try to get this thing built as quickly as possible. So kudos to the staff and the team for being open to fast tracking some. And it's not really fast tracking, it's common sense doing everything at one time instead of multiple steps. So thank you for bringing this to us.
All right. Any other questions or comments, thoughts from the commissioners? Not seeing any more at this time. I'll go on ahead and close the public comment on this item and open it up to motions from the commissioners. Commissioner Kona.
Yeah, motion to find LDC 250282 text amendment consistent with the comprehensive plan.
All right, Commissioner Lau.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Motion by Commissioner Kona, consistency. Second to that by Commissioner Lauk. Are there any more comments, questions from the commissioners, clarifications? Not seeing any. Then we'll all signify their agreement by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, next item of business, 4C, LDC 250283, subdivision plans, review, permitting improvements, and the presenter is Tyreek Royal.
Good afternoon again, Tyreek Royal, Planning Commission staff, and I'll be presenting Erziro Monsanto from Hillsborough County Development Services, and he'll give a brief overview of the request.
All right. LDC 0283, subdivision plans review, permitting improvements. This text amendment will create a combined preliminary plat and construction plan review option for platted residential subdivisions with no improvements, along with an expedited residential building permit program. And this amendment is also as a result of recent Florida state statute changes. This combined review will permit the issuance of residential building permits prior to the approval and recording of a final plat. The amendment provides an opportunity for expedited permitting of residential subdivisions while maintaining compliance with substantive review standards and the requirement for infrastructure to support the subdivision to be in place prior to issuance of certificates of occupancy. With this expedited residential review permit program, an applicant will be able to submit residential building permits for up to 100% of the lots in a proposed subdivision prior to the approval and recording of the plat in the public records, provided that a complete application is filed for either combined preliminary plat and construction plans, or for construction plans following approval of a preliminary plat. There are 4 conditions that will be included in our code that will need to be met prior to building permitting issuance. And one is that the first one is approval of a combined preliminary plat and construction plans or construction plans. The second is that the applicant provides proof that a copy of the approved combined preliminary plat and construction plans or approved preliminary plat and construction plans have been provided to the relevant electric, gas, water, and wastewater utilities. The third one is that the applicant provides a valid performance bond for up to 130% of the cost to provide necessary improvement, and this is as defined in the Florida Statutes 177031, and for the proposed subdivisions that have not been completed upon submission of the building permit application. And the last condition is that the applicant indemnifies and hold harmless the county, its employees and agents, again in accordance with the same Florida Statute, Section 177073. All applicable code requirements, in addition from the County Development Review Manual, will still be required. And this concludes my presentation.
Planning Commission staff has reviewed this text amendment 250283 and has found it to be consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the comprehensive plan, including future land use section, objective 4.1, and policy 4.1.2 regarding relationship to land development regulations, where development must meet or exceed requirements of all land development regulations as established and adopted by Hillsborough County, the state of Florida, and the federal government, unless requirements have been previously waived by those government bodies. With that, Planning Commission staff recommends the LDC text amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the incorporated Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We didn't have anyone sign up in the public comment for this one either, so I'll turn it over to the commissioners for questions or comments, discussion. Not seeing a lot of excitement. Then I will go ahead and close the public comment on this one and open it up to motions from the commissioners. Commissioner Lauk, I see you moving.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that we find the Land Development Code text amendment language consistent with the unincorporated Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan and forward this recommendation to the Hillsborough County Board of Commissioners.
Second.
All right. We got a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Lauk, a second to that by Commissioner Kona. Are there any questions or clarifications, statements from the commissioners before we take our vote? Not seeing any, then we'll all signify their agreement by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? The motion carries unanimously. All right, our last action item is 4D, LDC 250348, stairways projecting in required yards for sites in special flood hazard areas. And the presenter is Tyreek Royal.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Again, Tyreek Royal, Planning Commission staff. I'm here to present Israel Monsanto from Hillsborough County Development Services Department. Thank you.
Okay, commissioners, this is the last item, LDC 250348, stairways projecting in required yard for sites in the special flood hazard area. This amendment will allow stairways for elevated structures in the special flood hazard area to project into the required front yard beyond the current 3-foot limitation established by our code. Due to recent hurricanes affecting our region, residential homes destroyed by storms now have to be elevated to comply with FEMA requirements. As part of the county's participation in the National Flood Insurance Program, the code and county construction codes requires that new residential structure in special flood hazard areas be elevated above an established base flood elevation. Existing structures located in the special flood hazard area that are elevated or reconstructed within the same building footprint will be allowed to have stairways necessary to provide access to the elevated structures in the required front yard. Our code currently provides that for elevated structures in the SFHA, height of the structures is measured from the base flood elevations in order to not penalize those structures that are required to meet a minimum elevation. In some instances, property owners are seeking to elevate their existing homes to a height that is above the base flood elevations in order to create usable non-living space under the elevated homes. This creates a challenge for those homes that are built to the minimum setback in that stairways necessary to gain access to the elevated homes needs to be then located within the setback at a height that exceeds the current allowance of 3 feet. So this amendment, again, will provide an allowance for stairways encroachments in the required front setback for these homes, and thereby not require property owners seeking to elevate their homes above this minimum requirement to seek variances to do so, which is a public hearing process. And this concludes my presentation.
Planning Commission staff has reviewed this text amendment 250348 and have found it to be consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the comprehensive plan, including future land use section objective 4.1 and policy 4.1.2 regarding the relationship to land development regulations. Development must meet or exceed the requirements of all land development regulations as established and adopted by Hillsborough County, the state of Florida, and the federal government, unless such requirements have been previously waived by those government bodies. This amendment is also consistent with objective 4.4 and policy 4.3.5 on land use sustainability. With that, Planning Commission staff recommends the LDC text amendment to be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the unincorporated Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan. Thank you.
Thank you. We didn't have anyone sign up for the public comment in this one, so I will turn it over to the commissioners for questions, comments, or thoughts. Not seeing any. Going once, going twice. I will close the public comment on this one and open it up to motions from the commissioners. Commissioner Bowden, sorry. Commissioner Bowden.
I make a motion that we find LDC 250348 stairway projecting in required yards for sites and special flood hazard area as consistent. Pass it on to the Board of County Commissioners for approval.
All right. Motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Bowden. Is there a second? Commissioner Soria.
I'll second the motion.
All right. Motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Bowden. A second to that by Commissioner Soria. Are there any questions, comments from the commissioners before we take our vote? I'm not seeing any, so would all signify their agreement by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right. Now on to our briefings. I guess our one briefing. 5A PCCPA 24-11 Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, north of Trapnell Road, west of Timber Lane Drive, and the presenter is Yanika Mills.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Yanika Mills, Planning Commission staff. I am presenting on behalf of Krista Kelly today. PCCPA 2411, which is located north of Trapnell Road, west of Timberlane Drive. This is a privately initiated plan amendment, small in scale, just a little over 14 acres in size. The applicant is requesting a future land use designation change from Hillsborough County Residential 1 to Plant City Residential 6. There's also a concurrent annexation application that is moving forward that has been submitted to the City of Plant City. And again, the applicant is requesting a future land use designation change from Hillsborough County Residential 1 to Plant City Residential 6. Here's a locator map. Again, the site is located on the north side of Trapnell Road, east of Turkey Creek Road, and west of Timberlane Drive. Here's an aerial of the site outlined in pink. The blue line represents the jurisdictional boundary between unincorporated Hillsborough County and the City of Plant City. Surrounding uses in the area include the Walden Lake subdivision, which is located to the north as well as along the eastern boundary of the site. And then to the west and the south, we have a large lot, single-family residential and agricultural uses. Currently, the future land use designation of the site is Hillsborough County Residential 1. Other future land use designations in the area include Plant City Residential 4 in the tan, and then we have Hillsborough County Residential 1 in the light green to the west and the south. And the proposal, again, is to change the future land use designation to Plant City Residential 6 in the darker yellow color. If the site were to be, currently the site could be considered for 14 dwelling units or over 154,000 square feet of non-residential uses, of course, subject to commercial locational criteria. If the residential 6 were to be approved, it would have the potential to develop up to 85 dwelling units. The non-residential potential would remain the same. This concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
All right. Were there any questions on this one from the commissioners? Not seeing any. We'll thank you for the information. And we will move right along to our next agenda item, number 6, Executive Director's Report. And the presenter is Melissa Zornita.
Good afternoon. Melissa Zornita, Executive Director. At your seat, you should have a copy of my report. A couple of items that I wanted to highlight. We had a meeting in January with the county staff discussing the process for working through the fact that we're having a lot more concurrent rezonings with plan amendments. The Board of County Commissioners has authorized them to move forward with necessary land development code amendments so you'll be seeing something later this year to address needed land development code changes because their rezoning process doesn't necessarily contemplate that rezonings might come forward concurrent with the plan amendment. And on the sort of like technical hearing administration side, there are some things that we need to work through on that. So we had a start of a discussion about that process and how we might make that work. I don't think anything would change about how you all handle things, but that is something that the county seems to want to, the county commission wants to see more of, the items coming together to them. We also had our own Chairman Joseph speak as a panelist at the Tiger Bay Club in January, so that was great to see him there. We've had discussions with the county on potential changes to accessory dwelling policies. I think what we've identified is that some of what was initially thought that may need to change in comprehensive plan policies are not really necessarily changes in comprehensive plan policies, but actually changes perhaps in regulations and ways that perhaps giving code enforcement more tools to enforce the regulations on folks who are doing illegal accessory dwelling units, because there are some folks who are perhaps converting backyard sheds into things that are not really legal accessory dwelling units, or maybe using RVs as accessory dwelling units, creating problems in neighborhoods, and that's sort of beyond the realm of comp plan policy. So we've been having a series of meetings with county staff on that, as well as with some of the county commissioners. We continue to convene a technical advisory committee around the Fowler Vision Plan. That's because both the county, the city of Tampa, and now the city of Temple Terrace really have appreciated that vision plan and like having the forum to discuss how they can further the implementation along that corridor with folks like DOT and HART, so have asked us to continue to convene that group together on either bi-monthly or quarterly basis. So we're continuing to do that. We had a meeting with Greg Pauley, who's the new Community Development Director out at the City of Temple Terrace, and his team, seeing how we can assist them in the coming year. They're already eagerly anticipating a 2026 update of the Temple Terrace Comprehensive Plan. We're hoping to get started on Plant City's Comprehensive Plan update in 2025, and then, yes, turning to Temple Terrace in 2026. We continue to be working on the urban service area expansion, publicly initiated amendments, and had a community open house on that on January 30th. We also had a meeting with county communications about how they can partner with us on distributing some educational materials on that in advance of your hearing on February 25th and then the board's hearing on March 13th. And then we also have been working on the City of Tampa comp plan update and hope moving towards public hearings on that in April and May. So those efforts are, you know, in the end stages, hopefully. Also wanted to mention that we have a newly appointed planning commissioner from the city of Temple Terrace. Some of you will remember that Evangeline Linkus was a planning commissioner from Temple Terrace for about a year-ish, I guess. And then she had to leave and was replaced by Commissioner Fernandez. She has been reappointed by the city of Temple Terrace last Tuesday. Unfortunately, she could not be here today, but is planning to be here on February 24th to be sworn in at that public hearing. Let's see. Also wanted to mention that we also have been doing an internal focus. There are a couple items on here. We had one of our communities we serve Lunch and Learn series items where we had a speaker from the Senior Connections Center, learning about sort of our aging communities and some of the things that we can do to help serve them particularly when they attend our meetings, how we can adjust our approach to meeting their needs. And we had a volunteering event at the Pet Resource Center, which was really fun. So that's a little update on what we've been up to. On the back of that page, there is an update on a couple of plan amendments. You'll notice that the plan amendments for Plant City have 2022 and 2023 numbers. They are plan amendments that have been around for a while and had been waiting for the annexation and rezoning process to catch up. They were both ones that Planning Commission staff and the Planning Commission found inconsistent. And ultimately, the City Commission found consistent because they were able to work through a number of the issues through the annexation and rezoning process. And these were two examples of what prompted the change to the procedures manual that Plant City and we brought forward that now requires that the annexation has to be ready to go forward for the plan amendment to be processed, because the plan amendments were getting way ahead of the annexations, and many of the issues that were not ready. They were not being addressed properly and not ripe as part of the plan amendment discussion. And then there also was one plan amendment for the City of Tampa that moved forward that we had found consistent, and City Council has approved on first reading. With that, I would just remind you that we had planned a public information committee meeting because we knew there would be a bit of a gap between this and the public hearing at 5:30 to discuss a couple of items related to the awards program that we're going to hold in the Tampa Bay room to allow this room and the Plan Hillsborough room, because we are anticipating a crowd for the public hearing tonight, to be available for the public. So we'll have it in the Tampa Bay room and allow dinner to get set up in the Manatee room. So happy to answer any questions about any of the items I covered.
All right, I saw Commissioner Lauk itching to get on here, so go
I'm curious
ahead.
about the HDU conundrum in the county. We've had a lot of conversations around HDU dwellings in the city of Tampa, but not many in the county. So are those violations concentrated in a specific geographic area, or are they? It's interesting to me that we're seeing issues in the county pop up.
Yeah, so accessory dwelling units have been permitted in the county for decades. If you have a certain size lot size, I think it has to be at least a 5,000 square foot lot, and there is a size of dwelling unit that you have to have for the accessory dwelling unit. From what the commissioner stated at the public hearing on the adoption of the future land use section, yes, they are seeing problems in the town and country area and in the Palm River area where there are, with what they stated at the time, with accessory dwelling units. What we then sat down and did through a series of meetings was meet with development services, code enforcement. We then brought in the county attorney's office. And what appears to be is mostly issues with illegal accessory dwelling units, and that the code enforcement has some difficulty getting on the property to document that they're illegal units. So somebody converting a shed and now putting a bed back there, because in order for it to constitute a dwelling unit, it has to have a stove. And so there are, and you have to have a certain number of unrelated persons to be, only a certain number of unrelated persons can live in a dwelling unit. That's the other thing that they're having difficulties with, is people subdividing dwelling units into essentially multifamily. So taking a single family home and suddenly it becomes 4 units in the same house, which would not be allowed under the comprehensive plan. But again, code enforcement's having challenges documenting it. So again, what we found through the series of meetings was that perhaps there are some different regulatory avenues that need to be explored, and it may not be something the comprehensive plan can solve.
Thanks.
Sure.
All right. Were there any other questions or thoughts for our executive director on any of the stuff that she just spoke about? Not seeing any. Well, thank you for the information.
Thank you.
And we will move right along to other business. All right. Chair's business. I have none. Old business. I don't believe there is any. Does anybody have any new business that they wanted to bring up? Not seeing any at this time. Committee reports. Any committee reports? None at this time. I don't have one this week. We didn't meet for the TPO. We'll be meeting after this meeting this week, later this week on Wednesday. So next meeting I'll probably have one, but I don't have one for this meeting. So no committee reports. Then that is the end of our agenda. Would you say we're coming back at 5:30 for public hearings? All right. So since that's the end, at 3:52, we'll see everybody at 5:30 p.m. and at 3:52 p.m. this regular meeting's adjourned.